Welcome to step 2. Back in the good old days, in the IT staffing and recruiting business, sourcing used to be the biggest problem. However, with the disruption and change in the industry, with the addition of job boards like Dice, Monster, Career Builder, niche job sites, and social media, sourcing is no longer the problem. There's an abundance of available resumes. Qualification is now the biggest problem, and here's how we are attempting to fix the broken and complacent IT recruiting process. So this is how most people see the world. If you look at this diagram, on the left-hand side are a bunch of the sourcing inputs that we talked about, and they're endless. And we've broken the process into 4 simple steps: sourcing, qualification, interviewing, and onboarding. The triangle being flipped on its side also has meaning. So if you look at the sourcing box, this is where the most time, effort, money, and resources is spent, and then it moves on down the line to the right-hand side. So folks are still trying to solve a sourcing problem when it's really not the issue. The triangle also represents a traditional candidate flow. I need 100 candidates, and I'll go through qualification and cut that down to 25, and we might determine that we interview 5 and we onboard 1 or 2. So there's a traditional number metric or a numbers game that's happening here, and we believe that that's no longer the right approach to the recruiting process. So if you look at this slide, this is how we approach the problem, and this is how we see the world. The left-hand side, the same sourcing inputs exist, and many people have access to the same things. But when we look at it, we think the focus of time, effort, and energy should be in the qualification process. And we should also be spending more time in the back end understanding the profile. What does it look like when somebody gets onboarded or hired? What does the profile really represent? Who is really the right person? And our approach does this through our qualification model, where we use a competency-based approach with a scoring and weighting system. And we have a global team of resources behind a highly efficient process built on top of a transparent web-based cloud computing technology stack that really allows us to do this in this fashion, and allows us to reward our customers with the cost savings that we talked about in step 1. And if we're doing all of these things and focusing on quality and the quality filter, and making sure that our clients are spending time with the right people in the interview process, ultimately what we're seeing happen is that with our financial model and our approach, we're able to get our clients to go 1 for 1. That means they're doing 1 on-site interview, and they're actually hiring that person and making an offer. Everybody's expectations are handled appropriately. Everybody is working from the same page, and we are executing the vision. And we use all of this work that we do in identifying the Q, I, and O to inform our sourcing process. So that tells us what we're going to do in the sourcing process. We have a 14-step list that we follow when we source, but it's informed by understanding who the right people are. And then we use our sales and marketing competency to engage with them in a different way and actually attract the right people for the right job at the right time. So ultimately, by making this modification to the approach and working with our clients to understand it and work through this change, we are able to deliver 70% cost savings and way higher efficiency in this process. And really, the proof is in the pudding. So if you're ready to try it, please move on to step 3.